I think the nation state adoption is coming. These things happen very quickly. It's like literally gradually and then suddenly. And I think we're on the tail end of gradually and we're at the beginning phases of suddenly. And we see a massive nation state FOMO, panic. The current situation of Bitcoin price is definitely, on the verge of Omega.
Samson begins with a blunt observation. This Bitcoin cycle isn't playing out as expected. Historically, by this point, we should have already seen a parabolic bull run. Instead, prices are sluggish, even drifting lower at times. He doesn't deny the pattern, but argues that the cycle is delayed. In his view, the reasons range from macroeconomic conditions to possible market manipulation, but the conclusion is clear. The run is still coming, just later than expected.
Please take a little time to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. You can also check out our other videos on cryptocurrencies and the overall digital asset space and drop your comments and observations in the comments section below. Everything you do helps with the YouTube algorithm and immensely contributes to the channel's growth. Thanks and enjoy the video.
This cycle doesn't seem to have played out. We're behind schedule. We should have had a bull run already, like a massive run up. And, we're down actually at the time of this recording. So I think this cycle, if you want to call it a cycle, is delayed. It might push into next year for whatever various reasons there are. But I think the nation state adoption is coming. We're pushing on a lot of fronts. Other companies and people are pushing too. There are concrete examples of what Bitcoin can do to benefit a country out there right now. The moves in the US, I think, have yet to propagate throughout the world. So Trump did create the SBR, but they haven't started buying yet. And we are talking with other countries to do the same. There are a few that have said they will create it. And I think it's all coming. It's really that these things happen very quickly. It's like literally gradually and then suddenly. And I think we're on the tail end of gradually and we're at the beginning phases of suddenly. And if you look at just the US alone, they're pushing forward on a lot of their budget neutral Bitcoin acquisition and the Bitcoin Act too. So I believe it's simply a matter of time before we see a massive run up and we see a massive nation state FOMO, panic. I think it's likely Latin America. And I've said that since we started Jan 3, that it's the most ripe area of the world to significantly do something with Bitcoin because you have energy, the energy part of the equation, you have the general stability, political stability, and you have the need. So you put all those things together and it just makes it the perfect place. And I think we just need a few more dominoes to drop. If things pan out in Paraguay the way we hope, I think that's a big domino, and countries in the surrounding area would likely come as well. Even without nation-state adoption, we should see it too, simply because of the corporate buys. Every day there's more and more corporations buying, and it just blows my mind that we're not running already. Every day you see an announcement that Strategy bought this many coins, Metaplanet bought this many coins, this new company is buying, and the price is going sideways and down. So it makes zero sense, and I don't really have an answer about why. I think it's probably a number of things. It could be paper Bitcoin. It could be ETFs. It could just be outright fraud like FTX. Some exchange somewhere is selling coins that they don't have, and they're buying back when they need to buy back to meet demands for withdrawals. I don't know. But definitely, I think everyone has this sense in their head that something is off. And there's no way to know for certain until, something blows up and it's all over the news. But definitely, I would say it puts the suddenly, very close to now. And it could trigger at any time. And that's kind of like the Omega Thesis. And I think that the current situation of Bitcoin price is definitely, on the verge of Omega. There's always been something, right? Like FTX was the perfect example. We saw that they were selling Bitcoin that they did not have. And, that's always a possibility. And I think of all the factors, it has to be some contributing factor that some entity is doing something weird. 2.0 zero something trillion dollars, right? So it's getting more and more valuable. I think we need to become more and more conservative. Like, do we even want multiple releases of Bitcoin Core a year, or do we want one a year or one every 2 years? I don't know, but I'm okay with like a 1 to 2 year release cycle cadence, barring any urgent bug fixes for critical vulnerabilities, because there don't need to be that many features added to Bitcoin at this time. There's a problem here too, which is the current state of things is making it very difficult for getting consensus to upgrade the network, especially with Core the way it is now. Like, as you said, trust in Bitcoin Core is at an all-time low. Will they be able to push a soft fork through to fix something? I'm open to it, but not right now. I mean, there's no need for it. Like, people pushing for covenants, you can do that on Liquid right now. You know, yes, you don't like Liquid, probably you want it on the main chain, but prove out the use case and get some adoption. Like, have people using it for some wallet somewhere for some reason. But you can't just say we need this. And I don't think we're at a stage in Bitcoin's life cycle where that should be the case, where someone comes to the table and says, I need something and let's change something. Like, that's just completely unreasonable for an asset that is the size of Bitcoin. And, you know, I agree that we do need bug fixes. Like, there are things that we can fix, but like, that bug is in 2038. We have time, right? Where there's no urgency. We can spend more time analyzing the current state of Bitcoin, looking for more bugs, fixing issues, and fixing these longer term bugs that, you know, can wait for a decade.
Another hot button issue is the role of spam and arbitrary data on Bitcoin. Samson stresses that Bitcoin's core purpose is money, sending and receiving BTC. Small amounts of metadata, like an 83-byte hash via OP return, have long been accepted as safe and useful. But pushing large blobs of data onto the main chain, such as images or other arbitrary content, introduces risks. It's not that such uses are impossible, but Samson believes they should be proven out on sidechains like Liquid first. Only after clear adoption and demonstrated utility should proposals for main chain changes even be considered.
There are so many dimensions to the argument that it's difficult to pinpoint exactly what the crux of the issue is. There's the whole debate about, you know, is it spam? And can we stop spam? Should we stop spam? There's the debate upon is Bitcoin money or is it arbitrary data? And do we want Bitcoin to be just a cryptographic blob, a cryptographic accumulator, in Adam Back's words? Or do we want to say it's money? And then there's the whole facet of, you know, just core versus knots, developers being against knots and knots against core. And that goes into another rabbit hole of, you know, what is a bug even? Because if you go back in time to where it kind of kicked off, it is really the ordinals inscription spam, right? And that was when Luke had Luke logged a bug, CV 2023-50428, basically saying that these new protocols are bypassing data carrier size. And a lot of core developers just said, nope, not a bug, it's a feature. So they kind of changed documentation to fix the bug. And I think that is kind of where, in my mind, the schism happened. And the fallout now over knots versus core and op return is downstream of that moment in time. So it's a big can of worms, I would say, overall. But the net effect is really, maybe it's a battle over the core repo. Because core is kind of booted Luke now. You know, like when they were first proposing the change op return, they kind of were banning people and locking the thread to prevent people from knacking, and then unlocking it to ack it, and then relocking it. It's just an incredibly childish thing that they were doing. But, you know, Luke is kind of excommunicated from the Church of Core now. And that's probably, you know, a major factor in the ongoing battle. You know, he's got knots gaining traction, a lot of traction. And I would say Ocean is overall gaining a lot of hash rate too. So the whole situation is kind of a really bad situation that we got into that could have been avoided I believe, if there were more people listening to Luke at that time, and we nipped the spam issue in the bud early on. But, here we are. Where is the forum to discuss what is a bug, right? If you go back to what I pointed out as the origin of the split, then, where was that place to discuss it? It was technical forums or GitHub and the mailing list, but that didn't really result in a good outcome, I think. But, it comes down to the what is the governance? And we like to say there's no governance, but there really is governance, right? There are leaders in core. The maintainers, have a big weight in, what happens, what gets merged, and their acts and knacks carry more weight, whether they believe it or not, than, just your ordinary contributor. So it comes down to, I think, governance, and the question of where these broader topics are hashed out is definitely something that is not yet answered, and I don't really have an answer. Is it on X? Well, spam is non-native data to the Bitcoin network. So you can say that you don't know what spam is, but what is a Bitcoin transaction? If you download the Bitcoin client and you get some Bitcoin, like someone sends you Bitcoin and you send someone else Bitcoin, that is, that's the main use case of the network, sending and receiving Bitcoin. And that is not sending pictures and other things. Like there is arbitrary data, and that's usually stored in op return, like 83 bytes of data. And it's been like that for a very long time because you can, store a hash of something or a double hash. Open timestamps uses it. Various other protocols might embed a little bit of data, but that's been generally deemed safe and acceptable with general consensus / agreement. Consensus seems to be a trigger word these days. Like people like to argue, oh, that's not a consensus rule. But we're not saying it in that meaning. We're meaning do people agree? And people agree. Op return at 83 bytes is generally accepted as okay. But when you start moving towards larger blobs of data, I think that's a slippery slope. And you'll come to see most of this discussion is really about slippery slopes. There are slippery slopes everywhere.
So where does this leave us? Samson sees the current moment as precarious, but also full of potential. On the one hand, governance disputes and market manipulation cloud the picture. On the other hand, sovereign adoption, corporate accumulation, and the looming supply crunch set the stage for an explosive breakout. Whether the spark comes from Latin America, a corporate wave, or the exposure of fraudulent practices in the market, Samson believes the conditions for an Omega moment are already in place.